Think about everything school taught you: quadratic equations, the water cycle, how to dissect a frog, the causes of World War II, maybe even how to play the recorder badly. You spent 12 years sitting in a classroom, thousands of hours of lessons, homework, exams, and yet nobody ever sat you down and said, "Here's how to manage your money. Here's what a credit score is and why it will follow you for life. Here's why your savings account might actually be losing you money. Here's how to invest and why starting at 22 versus 32 could be worth $500,000. Nobody said any of that. And the moment you graduated, the real world didn't care. The bills came anyway. The rent came anyway. The taxes, the debt, the financial decisions that nobody prepared you for, they all came anyway. So today, we're going to cover what school should have taught you, the financial education you were owed and never received. Welcome. Let's get into it. Let's start with some numbers that are going to sting a little. 78% of Americans live paycheck to paycheck. Not people in poverty, not people without jobs, people with full-time incomes, just barely keeping their head above water because nobody ever taught them how to manage what they earn. The average American carries over $6,000 in credit card debt at interest rates of 20% or higher. That's over $1,200 a year gone just in interest payments. Not paying down the debt, just the interest. Money disappearing every single month for nothing. And here's the one that really gets me. Only 1 in 3 adults can pass a basic financial literacy test. 1 in 3. These aren't trick questions. Things like, what is compound interest? How does a credit score work? What happens to your purchasing power when inflation rises? Basic, foundational, life-changing information that 2/3 of adults have never been properly taught. This is not a personal failing. This is a systemic one. You were handed a calculator and told to find X, but nobody told you how to make sure you had enough money to pay your rent at the end of the month. So why? Why does this gap exist? There are 3 honest reasons. The first is that financial education isn't standardized. It varies wildly depending on where you grew up, which school you went to, and frankly, which teacher you happen to get. In most countries, there is no mandatory personal finance curriculum. It's optional at best, non-existent at worst, a complete lottery. The second reason is that most teachers were never taught this either. Think about it. Your teachers went through the same system you did. They learned algebra, they learned history. They were not sitting in teacher training being taught how compound interest works or how to build a retirement fund. You cannot teach what you were never given. The gap is generational, and it keeps passing itself down. The third reason, and I want you to sit with this one, is that the financial system profits from your confusion. Banks made over $15 billion in overdraft fees last year. Credit card companies earn more money the longer you carry a balance. Payday loan companies exist entirely because people don't have emergency funds. Every time someone makes a financially uninformed decision, someone else is making money from it. I am not saying there is a conspiracy to keep you financially uneducated, but I am saying this. An informed consumer is a less profitable consumer, and the institutions that shape our education system are often the same institutions that benefit from financial confusion. Again, draw your own conclusions. So, what should you have learned? What does real financial education actually look like? 5 things. That's it. 5 things that would have changed everything. Number 1, how money works. Not just money is currency, but what inflation actually is, why prices rise, why the $10,000 you save today will not buy the same things in 20 years, why understanding the value of money and how it changes over time is the foundation of every smart financial decision you will ever make. Number 2, budgeting. Not a spreadsheet that makes you feel guilty. A simple system that tells you exactly where your money is going before it disappears. The difference between people who always feel broke and people who feel financially comfortable on the same income is almost always a budget, not a bigger salary, a budget. Number 3, how debt works. The mechanics of interest, the reality of compound debt. The difference between debt that builds your life, like a mortgage, and debt that quietly destroys it, like a credit card balance you never fully pay off. How your credit score is calculated, what damages it, what builds it, and why it will affect your ability to rent a flat, buy a car, and get a mortgage for the rest of your adult life. Number 4, investing. The one topic that terrifies people the most, and the one that is actually the simplest. You do not need to be a Wall Street expert. You do not need to pick individual stocks. You do not need a financial advisor charging you 1% of everything you own. The basics of investing, done consistently and started early, are accessible to absolutely anyone. And the difference between someone who starts at 22 versus someone who starts at 32 can be several £100,000 or dollars at retirement from the exact same monthly contributions. Just time. Number 5, taxes. You work, the government takes a cut. Most people accept this without ever understanding it, but the tax code is full of legal ways to reduce what you owe. Retirement accounts, tax-efficient investing, allowances and deductions. Understanding even the basics of your tax situation is worth thousands of dollars every single year. 5 topics. None of them complicated. All of them life-changing. None of them on any exam you ever sat. Let me make this concrete. 2 people, call them Sam and Jamie. Same age, 22, same starting salary, $40,000 a year. Same job, same city, same everything. Sam has no financial education, carries $5,000 in credit card debt at 22% interest, puts money in a savings account earning 0.5%, doesn't start investing until 35 because it always felt complicated and scary. Jamie learned the basics, paid off all high-interest debt by 24, started investing just $300 a month into a simple index fund at 22. Nothing fancy, just consistent. Fast forward to age 65, Sam has managed to save around $150,000, a decent amount, nothing to be ashamed of. Jamie? Jamie has $920,000. Same salary, same starting point, same life. A difference of $770,000. Not because Jamie was smarter, not because Jamie earned more, because Jamie understood 4 concepts: compound interest, debt management, consistent investing, and time. That is the price of financial illiteracy. Not $100, not $10,000, potentially hundreds of thousands of dollars over a lifetime, quietly lost because nobody taught you. Now I need you to hear this clearly. This is not about blame, not about guilt, not about looking back at everything you should have done differently. This is about what you do from today, because the most powerful thing about money, the thing that makes it different from almost every other area of life, is that it is never too late to start. The best time to plant a tree was 20 years ago. The second best time is right now. Whether you are 19 and just starting out, or 38 and feeling behind, or 52 and worried you've left it too late, every single week from today that you understand money better than you did last week, you are ahead of where you were. And that compounds, just like interest. Knowledge compounds, habits compound, decisions compound. The gap between where you are and where you want to be is closed one good decision at a time. This channel exists for one reason: to give you the financial education you should have received years ago, in plain language, without jargon, without judgment, without gatekeeping. We are going to cover everything: inflation, budgeting, debt, investing, credit, taxes, savings accounts, index funds, retirement planning, passive income, real estate, the stock market, the mistakes to avoid, the strategies that actually work. One topic at a time, one video at a time. Clearly explained, every single week. No hype, no get-rich-quick nonsense, no shouting at you about cryptocurrency or telling you to buy a course. Just honest, clear, genuinely useful financial education, the kind that changes real lives.